The discovery pattern is a core collaborative practice used to help a team get shared understanding and, together, determine what to do next. The discovery pattern is a part of Agile at every stage, from portfolio level to delivery. I'll be referring to various collaborative thinking techniques. Think of these as tools in your facilitation toolbox. Over time, you'll get better at using these, and you'll find other techniques that work better for a certain situation. Discovery is meant to efficiently unleash the creativity of a group of people. It's not meant as a cake recipe where you must follow each step exactly. It's a process that's meant to be adapted to fit your current goals. All types of discovery use the same stages. Where are we now? Where do we want to be? How do we get there? What do we need to do? How much time you take on each stage and what techniques you use depends on your goal. Let's go through these stages and see how they lead people to shared understanding and agreement on the next step forward. Any discovery session starts with getting a clear understanding of where are we now. It's important to really spend some time here. Often, a retrospective format works well here. What's going well? What's not going well? What confuses us? In addition, you can use techniques such as silent brainstorming, affinity mapping, 5 whys root cause analysis, so what impact analysis, value stream mapping, personas, empathy mapping, assumption mapping. Whatever techniques you believe shed light on the topic. Also, this is where any research data should be shared with the team. Don't cut this stage short, even if you think you already have a clear grasp of the topic on the table. Don't jump to solutioning until you spend a lot of time understanding the problem. There is a story of a wise person who was asked how she would solve a problem if she were only given an hour. Her response was that she would spend 50 minutes understanding the problem and only 10 minutes coming up with a solution. Make sure you understand the problem so you come up with the right solution. Let's look at a concrete but fun example. Say you find yourself on a tiny island in the ocean. You need to understand where you are on a map, what resources you have on the island, how long you can survive there, when does the tide come up, how cold is the water, do you have any money, does your radio work, how cold does it get at night, etc. Resist the pull to jump to solution ideas yet. Spend a good amount of time understanding where you are now. Using all the insights you gained from the previous stage, it's time to decide where we want to be. Come up with high-level outcomes which will describe your end state when the idea has been implemented or the problem has been solved. This is about high-level outcome, not solutions. Where do you want to be, not how will you get there? What will your company's place in the market be? Or what will the user be able to do? Or how will your team be functioning once you've fixed a problem? Back to you sitting on that little island in the ocean. What is your outcome? Where do you want to be? Maybe your outcome is to make yourself comfortable on the island. But let's say you decided you want to get off the island. So the outcome is you want to get to the mainland and civilization. At this point, you're not thinking about how you'll get to the shore, only that you need to get there with a time frame of a couple of days. Now's not the time to think about whether you will swim or float or fly or walk on the ocean floor. Focus on the outcome, the dry land in the distance. Come to agreement on this outcome using appropriate collaborative techniques in your toolbox. Now, finally, you can start to think about how do we get there. This is a process of coming up with a lot of ideas, exploring them together, and then deciding on a single solution. Coming up with a lot of ideas, then narrowing down to one, is known as diverging and converging. The first thing you need to do is figure out what will likely get in the way as you take various approaches. What are the blockers you will likely encounter as you move toward your identified outcome? You don't need to know what your solution is in order to list out all the things that will likely get in your way. This is a good time for brainstorming. You don't want to miss any potential blockers. Again, don't shortchange this. Back on our island in the ocean, here's where you identify any sharks in the water, any strong currents, acknowledging that you don't know how to swim. Notice that it looks like a storm is coming. The water is dangerously cold. You're not solving any of these problems yet, just identifying and understanding them. Sometimes this process brings up other problems in your current situation that might affect your outcomes. Discovery is a technique for learning, and sometimes it's iterative, and you may have to go back and revisit previous stages. Now you want to determine what is your path forward. You want to come up with a high-level solution or path for how you will work your way to the outcome. Keep blockers in mind here. How will you go over, under, through, or eliminate your blockers? Often, another brainstorming session is valuable here. People might feel they see the solution, the best way forward, but you want to diverge first, come up with lots of ideas, and make sure you haven't missed any clever out-of-the-box solutions. When you have lots and lots of ideas on the table, you collaboratively converge on a solution. Take sufficient time for this, despite any tendencies to start going into detail on the first idea that excites someone in the group. At this stage, you should only be drawing a rough roadmap and picking the way forward that you will use. From the perspective of us out on the island in the ocean, you will now generate a bunch of possibilities for getting to shore. You consider swimming to shore or boating. You might build a smoky fire to send signals for someone to rescue you, or you might use a flare gun. Be sure to have some crazy ideas like riding out on the backs of dolphins. Using various collaborative techniques, it's time to decide on a solution. Look at your blockers. You can't swim, and it's too far anyway. You don't know how to ride dolphins, and the fire is not guaranteed to bring help. You decide to use the raw materials on the island to build a raft and paddle around the sharky and high current areas. Now that you've chosen the path to your outcome that avoids the things in your way, you need to determine what do we need to do. Again, use only the appropriate level of detail here. For business opportunity discovery, you only need to determine the large pieces of work and ideas for MVPs, if appropriate. For initiative discovery, you should get into a little more detail so you can develop a rough release plan. For enhancements in problem solving, you should get into the details so the stories are ready for iteration planning. Back on that island in the ocean, this is the time to figure out what clothes you need for your raft ride, how to cover your head, what direction the wind is going, estimate the speed of the current, and decide your direction. You're now ready to set off on your raft ride to shore and get home. This is the stage where you get ready for implementation and delivery. As you go through these steps with your team, remember that this is just a guide. Sometimes you'll find you need to adjust or repeat stages as you learn more. Just be sure you understand the purpose for each stage and don't lose the benefits. Each stage is very important. There are several places where the discovery pattern provides a nice framework for getting shared understanding and group strategizing. High-level strategy, new business idea evaluation, new initiative planning, also known as Iteration 0, new requirements or enhancements, a problem-solving smash. I hope this video helps you run some great discovery sessions with your team. Happy discovering!